Charlie Weimers is a Swedish politician and member of the European Parliament since 2019. He's a member of the Swedish Democrats and part of the European Conservatives and Reformists. Please welcome back to TVP World, Mr. Charlie Weimers. Mr. Weimers, we do have another stage, another aspect of the humanitarian or migrant crisis within the EU, but for the first time it is being used as a weapon. It is weaponized by the regime of Alexander Lukashenko, who was just granted an access on the high level of the political discussion between Angela Merkel and himself, which raises the question of the acceptance of the activity and of the blackmail on the EU that is being proceeded by Lukashenko. What's your comment and what's your take on this whole situation?
Well, first of all, I do understand if some Poles are a little bit touchy when its borders are being discussed by others without the presence of Poles themselves. So I fully understand the strong reaction from Warsaw and the whole of Poland against this. Secondly, this hybrid warfare that is being conducted against Poland is nothing new. It's what happened when Erdogan pushed migrants towards the Greek border. It's been happening when Kenya had a large Somali diaspora and then threatened to send them out of the country, and the UN and the world community paid off Kenya's political leadership for not doing so. This is an old tactic, and it surprises me that Migration Commissioner Ylva Johansson refers to the actions by Lukashenko as something new, a new method. It's not, and the EU should have seen this coming. I was warning of this 1.5 years ago, and I was asking Ylva Johansson this summer, will the EU finance border barriers, physical barriers? And she said that the EU Commission does not think that physical barriers is the most efficient means to protect the border. Well, if you look at the Polish border right now, border guards and physical barriers are quite important.
Mr. Weimers, let me interrupt you for a moment, because it's quite shocking. Because if this is a point of view of the EU commissioner, why do we have the fences on the borders of external borders of the EU on the Spain territory? Why do we have it on the Greek territory? Why do we have it on the Hungarian territory and Hungarian border? Why do we have it on the Bulgarian border? Actually, every migrant path that was used in the past has this kind of physical barrier on the external EU borders. This is the only way that it works. There is no other solution. There is no other means of stopping this kind of activity. So, sorry for putting it this way. What does she mean? I mean, I don't understand it.
Well, I guess she hadn't yet seen the light, because when she went to the Lithuanian border end of August, she stated that, well, you know, I have seen this now with my own eyes, and borders, they may actually work. So it took for her to go there, be physically present at the border, after the first hybrid attacks by Belarus against Lithuania, to officially recognize that, yes, borders, physical barriers, walls, wired fences, they do make a difference. But, she added, the EU Commission will still not finance border member states in their efforts to secure our border, because it's not only the border of Lithuania, Poland, Greece, Spain. It's the border of all of us. And the irony here is that it's the same European Commission that strikes down upon those member states who are imposing internal border controls because they don't trust the ability of the EU to secure the external border. So they don't want to have an external border, or used to don't want to have it, and they don't want to have internal borders. So it kind of speaks volumes of the mentality of the Brussels elites. They want a borderless Europe, and they don't take the migration prognosis for Europe in the decades to come into account at all.
But, Mr. Weimers, there's also a question, the broader question of the EU migration policy. There was a very interesting report. We were talking about this report on our show a couple of days ago by three European members of European Parliament, and they quoted the official data by Eurostat. According to this official documents, only 32% of the illegal migrants are being sent back from the territory of the European Union. I'm talking only about those who were recognized as illegal migrants. 32%. Out of 10 people, only 3 are being sent away. 7 are staying within the borders of the EU. What does it mean? It's very hard to understand. We got Malta with 97% of sending back people. We got Poland with almost 90%. We got Germany with only 50%, but the average is 32 for the whole European Union. It's a policy. It's not an accident.
Right. So every year, 500,000 individuals are supposed to be sent back, returned to their home countries because they lack the right of residence in the European Union. And the European Court of Auditors, they see that only 1/5 of these are actually sent back effectively. So that leaves us 400,000 individuals each year going into a sort of gray or black area in Europe, a black market, being outside the system, shadow society, adding to the already existing segregation in Western Europe, and in my country, Sweden, not at least. And these migrants, these economical migrants that you see in Belarus right now, they know this. They know this. They know the inability to send back people without asylum, reasons for asylum. And Belarus knows that whenever a member state is trying to push back migrants, Ylva Johansson and her European Commission will be there, and they won't be attacking Turkey for trying to weaponize migration against Greece. They will attack Greece for standing its ground, for protecting its borders. And because it's easier. Turkey, and they will pay Erdogan for not repeating his migration warfare. The whole world knows this, and until we establish an Australian model where we clearly say to illegal migrants, Europe will never be your home. Until then, this will continue forever and ever.
Charlie Weimers was our guest. Thank you very much for your time and for your presence on TVP World.
Thank you.